Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Tayo Salam. Many thanks for joining us again. All right, let's start off with what's going down in Vienna. That's the Super Eagles camp ahead of the international friendly against Cameroon. We have a full house now. Anthony Izuchukwu is the latest Eagle in town.
Okay, full house for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We talked about Paul Onuachu yesterday. He's also in camp. So right now, Kenneth Ross got 21 players to prosecute the game. He was expecting 20. Right now, he's got 21 players. Cameroon have 26. So what's going to happen on Friday? That's tomorrow for the game. Also on the program, yes, Eyimba, they're back to winning ways. Victor Mboma scored so early, 7th minute, and of course, 2 goals in first half. They just head on to win that game at 2-1 against Lobby Stars of Makurdi.
Fantastic victory for the People's Elephants. That's enough to take out. We'll see where they are on the table later on the show. Also on sport this morning, this time in the NBA, the Philadelphia 76ers have rolled into the semifinals in the East after eliminating the Washington Wizards 129-112 in Game 5.
And of course, the Hawks and the 76ers are meeting in the semifinals. Okay, we'll start off with the results from last night.
Yes, so
okay, all the results, because we had some interesting one. The Clippers, okay.
I like
they're not going to go the ways of Lakers because look at Doncic. Well, clipping their wings right now.
Yeah, let's start with the Wizards and the 76ers. That's our focus on the show. The Wizards, unfortunately, it's the end of the road for them in the playoffs.
Heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking for Cecilia. They lost 112-129 against the Philadelphia 76ers, who were playing without Joel Embiid. So that series has been clinched 4-1. We'll come back to that shortly. Let's move on to the Hawks and the Knicks. The Knicks returned to the playoffs. Didn't really do a lot of damage because they're out in the very first round. Thanks to the Atlanta Hawks, led by Trae Young. Trae Young, 36 points and 9 assists.
He was on fire. What a player. Was having a ball. Now, this player, you know, if you check all through the series, especially in Game 2, when he was actually spat out, I think that's when he decided that he was going to show these home fans. And the final game, when the Knicks were supposed to, like, try stay in the game, but they just couldn't because this guy had 36 on the 9th. And, of course, at the end of the day, he had to, you know, last 3 pointers he gave them and just dagger to the heart and bow to the crowd, you know, celebrating and telling them, well done, you know, because I think it's the hostilities that actually got him firing on and had to send the home team away at Madison Square.
Take a ball wherever
he did that. I mean, bowed to the Madison Square Garden crowd after the game.
Let's spare thoughts for Julius Rondo, most improved player in the league. Unfortunately, was an almighty struggle during the playoffs. Finished with 23 points and 13 rebounds for the Knicks. Very disappointing. Like I said, 8 for 21 from the field and finished 28 for 94. That's 29.8% in the series. That's just really, really, really bad. Like we always say, the regular season and the postseason is a different ball game entirely. Hopefully, Julius Randle would have learned from this experience and come back stronger next season. The Grizzlies and the Jazz, of course. The top-seeded Jazz got the job done 126-110 against Memphis. The series has been clinched 4-1. Donovan Mitchell leading the way, scoring 26 of his 30 points in the first half. The Mavericks and the Clippers, like Cecilia said, this one is shaping up to be a 7-game series. That's what it looks like to me. The Mavericks went to the Staples Center and got the job done just by the skin of their teeth. 105-100. Cecilia, this game went down to the wire. The Clippers had an opportunity to win it with few seconds left, missed the shot. And, of course, Dallas took full advantage. Tim Hardaway Jr. nailing 2 free throws to clinch that victory.
A great one. As you mentioned, look at Doncic, of course, 42 points on the night. He's the second player in NBA playoff history.
What a player.
To record 42-plus points, 8-plus rebounds, and 14-plus assists. LeBron James did that in 2018.
This guy's ridiculous.
Okay, the game of the night. Seth Curry there dropping 30 for the 76ers. Now you know why they won that game, even without Joel Embiid, because every player came to the party, and even Dwight Howard also And then 12 points on the 9th. Bradley Beal was guarded all through. Ben Simmons was on fire, you know, playing his thing. Fine, he's been criticized sometimes, but this guy, it's a big player to always look at anytime
we'll come back
playing.
to the top performers later. We're still
yeah.
Trying to analyze what happened in that game 5 between the Wizards and the 76ers. Cecilia already mentioned Seth Curry finished with 30 points on the night. Of course, Tobias Harris, what a player. Every time Joel Embiid has not been available, this guy steps up and carries the offensive load for the 76ers. He did just that last night as well, too, finishing with 28 points on the night. Like I said, Curry was very good as well. Ben Simmons, what a player. Triple-double, 19 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds to keep the top-seeded 76ers in the hunt for their first championship since 1983. Simmons is kind of renowned for being very bad from the free throw line, but not this time around. Cecilia,
he knew what was at stake because all eyes were obviously on him.
Exactly, and he delivered.
He did, he delivered,
5 of 8 from the charity stripe after missing 15 of 20 over the first 4 games. So that's a clear, marked improvement from Ben Simmons. Of course, carry on.
No, just kudos to that's for Bradley Beal, 32 on the night. Despite the fact that it was well guarded, it was able to drop 32. Russell Westbrook also 24 points and 10 assists, both combining for 56 points. But then it just wasn't enough for them, so they are out. But who could have thought that the Wizards will be playing in the playoffs, play in the play-in, and had to qualify to the playoffs through that tournament route. Right now, these guys were able to make it to the playoffs. Facing top seed 76ers was always going to be a very difficult one. But then,
Cecilia, I don't see how you want to paint this. It's been a terrible season for the Wizards.
It was, but getting into the playoffs after that terrible season, it shows how dogged they are because of what Russell brought into it.
They put themselves in that situation in the first place. Of course, they had COVID issues and all of that and stuff. But our team having Russell and Bradley Beal should not be struggling to even make the playoffs in the first place. In the East, we're not talking the West, Cecilia. So, anyways, let's forget about the guys that lost. Let's focus on the winning team now. Doc Rivers came in during the offseason and is leading the charge for the Philadelphia 76ers to perhaps win the first championships since 1983. Let's take a listen to him now.
I just love how they played. We got down early, no panic set in. I really believe, Keith, they believed that they were better today. You know, like they were the better team. I thought they played with that type of confidence. I tell you, for one day of you know, really changing, like going small, you know, installing our little spread stuff that we were running. For us to execute that well, it just tells you how focused they were. I mean, we didn't have a lot of time to work on a lot of stuff, but they did it. And so, really, I'm just really proud of all of them. Ben was incredible. Tobias was incredible. Seth, you know, what can you say? So, but everyone else was good. Tyrese came in. Ferg gave us a big lift. So there were so many guys. I thought Dwight Howard in the second half was huge. So it was what you would call a all-hands-in team win for sure.
Doc Rivers are obviously very delighted with the qualification for the semifinals in the Eastern Conference, where they'll be taking on the Atlanta Hawks next. Cecilia, I think everyone would expect them to advance in that one as well. But it's not. Why not? Why not? I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes very tricky along the way.
To Game 7, you can do that.
Why not?
Now let's listen to, of course, the Wizards. Who you feel? I mean, they put themselves in the situation. But when you're facing 76ers, top seed in the East, sometimes it's hard to really deal with all the superstars in the team. Compared to the Wizards, where you have just 2 superstars, the others have never been to the playoffs before. So let's listen to Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook talking about how the season it's been. And of course, they're really proud that they were able to get this far.
Obviously, you don't want to lose or go home, but one thing that's important that I emphasize to the guys in the locker room, that by any means we should have our head down. We did something that nobody thought we could even do in the middle of the season. And with that, we should be proud of the way we played this season. We fought through a lot of ups and downs, adversity, injuries, COVID. So we should be proud of the way we, as a team collectively, fought. That's a good team on the other side, and, good luck to them.
First, I want to praise my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for this season, for a healthy year, and everything like that. But for the most part, man, it was just re-emphasizing, nobody should be, holding their heads down. Nobody really put us to be in the position we're in. Nobody expected us to be here, and I don't think anybody, sure enough, didn't think we'd take them to 5. I still strongly in my heart believe we could have took them to 7. They made more plays than we did, got more stops than we did tonight. But my message is, the ultimate thing was remember this feeling. A lot of guys, it's their first time in the playoffs.
Okay, Bradley Beal there and Russell Westbrook talking about this season. Yes, they brought winning mentality into that team. I would say it was a successful season for them, no matter what higher here. We'll say next season, let's see what they can do. Maybe more experience, playing together more, they might just be able to get it easier than it did this season. So if no injuries and no COVID-19 protocols and precautionary measures and everything, I think the Wizards would have had a better season than they did. But then to still a fulfilled season because they got to the playoffs. Okay,
have we
top performance
redefined
right
the meaning
now
of successful?
Top performance. Can we take a look at the top performance right now?
Because I don't know what you're talking about. The successful now means something differently. I don't know what you're saying, Cecilia.
It wasn't totally a bad season.
Yeah, but not
Warriors
successful.
will do everything to be in their shoes right now. Forget the fact that they're in the West. It doesn't really matter. Yes.
Not successful.
Bradley Beal, 32, 7, and 5. Let's go to the next guy. And who is he?
Donovan Mitchell is back and strong, playing well for the Utah Jazz. On the night, finished with 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. Next up is Luka Doncic. What a player. 42 big points, 8 rebounds, and 14 assists for the Dallas Mavericks.
MVP.
Shot 17 of 37 from the field. That's 3 more combined than the 34 taken by the Clippers stars of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
High school Trae.
Trae Young, what a player, 36 points, 4 rebounds and 9 assists for ATL.
Okay.
So that's it for the NBA playoffs. Of course, action will continue today, and we'll see if the Lakers can somehow find a way to stave off elimination and advance.
They can maybe pull the call through to Doc Rivers and what he told his players. Okay, you don't have the main man, Joel Embiid. What are you going to do? They should be able to do that. Dwight Howard, even 12 points. I was surprised. Everyone contributed. Everybody. So that's what the Lakers need to do. So it's that easy. Dennis Schroeder, 0 points. That's
0 of 9 shooting.
0 of 9 shooting. What's that? It's crazy.
They all got to do better than that. But we hear Anthony Davis is getting better. But
they're not sure yet.
Status are still very much up to the doctors to decide if he's going to play or not. If he doesn't play, then the other players will have to just find a way. LeBron James cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
Of course, Andre Drummond, Markieff Morris,
Dennis
Schroeder. All of these guys have
Kyle Kuzma, come on.
Kyle Kuzma as well. So let's leave the NBA for now so we don't get too carried away. I know it's a bit upsetting to see those guys playing that way.
Yeah, and struggling, and just leaving everything for LeBron. Now that's why he had to just walk out. A few minutes to the end of the 4th quarter. When was the last time you had a defending champion actually losing by as much as 30 points in the playoffs? I've never seen that, right?
It was just terrible.
Okay, it was terrible. Now let's talk about success. Success, yes, success. Talking about Blessing Okagbare. Yes, this season she's been on fire, and that's why everyone has been tipping her. She might just get a gold medal this time around. Yes, she's won medals at the Olympics, but the way she has started this season, how many times she's been able to go under 11 seconds, it's been huge. I'm just saying. But the latest now is the fact that she was actually happy to execute another perfect race, docked inside 11 seconds for the 3rd time this season, and that was just yesterday evening at the PTS Athletics meeting in Slovakia. She was able to do that 10.98 seconds, and that record has been standing since 1983 by a lady from Czech Republic, Jamila Chilova, yeah, she's the one who set the record at that time, 11.09 seconds. But Blessed Samarano was able to break that record, and she set that meeting record. So 3 times under 11 seconds this year. I mean, it's been huge for Blessing Okagbaya.
Yes, Blessing looking good for the Olympics. It's all about picking at the right time, and it looks like Blessing is on the right way, on the right path to doing just that. Hopefully no injuries before the competition starts in July.
All right, time to bring you guys to what we are doing on the program this morning. Quickly, before our guest Akintunde Bada would join us, yes, talk to us on our Twitter handle. What do you think about the French Open? Who's going to win it? Yeah, is he open or not? But we know who is always favorite. The king of clay is there. The prince of clay is out. But Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, it's going to be one person, of course. For the women, Serena Williams, will she make 24? No pressure on her. She's enjoying her tennis so far. Will she be able to make it number 24? Talk to us about that one. Of course, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they will be in action on Friday against Cameroon. The players in camp, you happy with Coach General done so far? And also, Aimba, they're back to winning ways. Yeah, moving on the table. They needed 3 points, and they got that. So tell us all about that. Badaki today Johnson joins us now on the program. Yes, we'll be talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the players that are in camp, and what Genedro can do, what he can do to ensure that, yes, it's a friendly, but anytime we're facing Cameroon, yes, whether it's friendly or not, it's always very, very competitive. Bada, good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Morning, Cecilia. Good to be on the show.
Okay, we haven't spoken to you since Chelsea won the Champions League, right? I saw your Instagram post. I mean, you didn't want them to win that because you wanted everywhere to be quiet, but somehow it wasn't so quiet.
Well, I guess you know the more important reason I didn't want them to win. I support a rival London club, so the worst thing that could have happened was for Chelsea to win. And unfortunately for Arsenal, fortunately for them, that was what happened. Congratulations to Chelsea. I thought it was a deserved win anyway.
That's what I wanted to get from you, that congratulations message.
So it's 2-0 now, but just for the records are 2 for Chelsea, none for Arsenal.
So we've got the pride of London, Chelsea, right? Okay, let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria now.
All right.
Okay, Genedro has been able to select some players. Not all the players are there, but with the kind of players he's got in camp, I mean, what can he do with them?
Well, go out and assess. That's what we expect. That's what anyone who knows the game, who follows international football should expect. Don't expect anything too cohesive. Don't expect anything too entertaining. Even if the withdrawals weren't the case, these guys have just come off very, very grueling, very tough, very physically draining seasons. They ordinarily should be resting in normal circumstances, but here they are playing 2 back-to-back friendlies against a tough opposition. So they're going to take it easy, especially because there is the World Cup qualifiers, I think, in September to look forward to. There is also the Nations Cup proper, I think, next year. So he's got a perfect opportunity to assess some fringe players, especially for certain positions where he probably doesn't have a player or players locked for sure, positions or sure starting positions. So it's a less than ideal situation in terms of players pulling out, but that also presents a massive opportunity for some of the players who've been called in to prove themselves. And I was quite surprised when I saw in certain quarters of the press some write-up about him being rigid in the past and not being open to trying players. I thought in recent history, this particular manager has probably been the one who's trialed the most at the national team level. So if there's any allegation that can be leveled against him, it will be that we haven't exactly seen a consistency. When you play a player once or twice and we never see him again, then it begins to call to question your purpose for bringing him in the first place. You just don't, point and call people to the national team. They've got to be players who you would have used anyway, but for the fact that there are other candidates in their positions. And I think that it's carried the experimentation a bit too far sometimes for my liking. And there has been no consistent pattern where we can say, oh, he's been able to bring through from this set of 10 or 11 that were invited over the last 2 years, 3 did make it into the main Super Eagles squad, or 4 did make the main Super Eagles squad. But I'm not averse to the idea of trying players. It's just got to be with the method. There's got to be a method to the madness, as they say. For a player like Olayinka, for instance, who's been called in, has been consistent. We've seen him in the Champions League 3-2 seasons, played in the Europa League this season as well. The reason that Peter Olayinka shouldn't be in the Super Eagles setup has got to be that there are 2-3 players in his position who are better, who are playing for better clubs in Europe and who have shown that they are better in the national team. And the moment one of them drops off, he comes in. That's the method. Not like you just randomly call up some player from second division somewhere when we already have like 4 or 5 players in that position who are clearly better than him. So I can't knock General Roa. I do believe that in this particular friendlies against Cameroon can be used for experimentation, but we need to see a clearly defined method because, I mean, like I said, the qualifiers are just around the corner and then the Nations Cup as well. So you can't just keep, trialing randomly. There has to be a method.
Yeah, indeed, there has to be a method. But I'd come back to you. Okay, let me just ask you straight away. You mentioned Peter Olayinka already. Which other players would you like to see? There are a few new faces in camp. Some fringe players are from defense to attack. For you, who would you like to see file out against Cameroon on Friday? Let's start from the attack.
To be honest, I mean, there's one player I would have loved to see in answering your question. It is Simi Nwankwo. Unfortunately, he's not part of the setup because he's injured. Just based on his performances this season, I've seen some of those Crotone matches in the Italian side where he scored great goals. I think that he offers something that maybe only Paul Onuachu offers us. Yeah, that physical presence, and he's got speed as well. He can play with his back to post. He can also play ball to feet. Play, drop deep sometimes. He can go through the wings. I think he's impressed me enough, and I would have loved to see him. From the rest of the players, I think the guy from the local league, what's his name again? The Eimba guy.
Anayo. Okay.
Anayo, yes. Who we saw a few glimpses, I think, against Lesotho, but not enough minutes. So I'd like to see him start. I think I like the fact that he's very comfortable with the ball. He's got a low center of gravity. Gives you to mention a coach, I will be pushing it a bit too far. Yeah, but he does give you that kind of vibe. A creative player who can make things happen with the spark of brilliance. And you need imaginative players. In the last maybe 5 to 6 years, Alex Iwobi has been the closest we've found in those creative midfield positions. And we all know that Alex Iwobi is not really, a 10 in the real. So if this guy is backed, is given the opportunity to shine, and he takes it and he can take confidence, he's probably, someone we can rely on to provide that creativity over the next 4 or 5 years or more. So I'm particularly looking out for, how General Roa uses the guy, because I think that there's something in there. Sometimes we just don't give these people enough opportunity. There's a lot of pressure that comes with playing for the national team. It's not club football where you have an opportunity to play every weekend at least, or every weekend and every midweek. National team games are few and far between, so it heightens the pressure, to perform. So you have to be able to give people the opportunity to play, and there is no better opportunity than these 2 games against Cameroon, I believe.
Tyrone Murphy, Tyrone is another player that is, a new player coming in. Do you also want to see him start? Because most Nigerians really want to see him because of his performance in this club, in the French league last season.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm all for giving people opportunity and hoping that they can translate their club form to the national team. We've seen a few players who did well at club level who just never caught it at national team level. Like I said earlier, also sometimes because they are just not given that opportunity. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play 2 games back-to-back against the same opposition means that, even if you make mistakes in the first one, you can correct them in the next one just a couple of days later. So if there's anything I want to see, it is a consistency in the lineups for the 2 games.
All right.
Play 1-11 against Cameroon on Friday and then play another 11 the next the next match day. If you play an 11 against them the first time and 7 of them impress, then start them in the next game and give an opportunity to 3 others or 4 others who didn't start that one. And then those ones who didn't really impress, maybe throw them on in the second half, give them another 45 minutes. Let's see a discernible method, to trialing these players. Give us an opportunity to assess. Don't play a player for 20 minutes and expect that those 2 or 3 times that he got the ball and didn't do much should define him. I don't think it's a fair way to try players.
All right, you're spot on, as usual, Kitsune. Talking about new players and French players, Izuchukwu Anthony has found his way into camp. Let's just get to meet this particular player. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians are not very familiar with him. Plays for Spartak in Slovakia. Is a centre-back position. While he's just 23 years old. He's 1.90 meters tall. So that's another player that we might get to see against Cameroon tomorrow. Talking about the players in camp, Moses Simon, of course, needs no introduction, and he's been speaking ahead of tomorrow's game against the indomitable Lions. We're trying to listen to Moses Simon. Moses Simon speaking ahead of tomorrow's game against the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Moses, everyone knows him, and he's no new player at all to Nigerians.
Yeah, for me it's good, and they welcome me well. So it is okay, very good, and I thank the players for their welcome. Of course, we know Cameroon is not an easy team. So we beat them, I think, 3 times in a row or 4 times. So we know they will be prepared, and I believe we'll be ready for them. It was great, and I'm happy. I believe everyone is happy because it's not easy. It was a long one, but we thank God for everything.
Super Eagles are forward and Nuns as well. Moses Simon expecting a very, very difficult match against Cameroon tomorrow. Let's leave the Super Eagles out for now. Of course, tomorrow we'll do a final preview of that super friendly for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's go to Europe now and talk about Euro 2020. Teams are getting ready. We saw loads of friendlies yesterday. We saw the return of Karim Benzema to international action for France. Couldn't mark it with a goal, missed the penalty. Very unfortunate. But let's focus on Belgium. Bada, it's all about Kevin De Bruyne. Terrible injury in the Champions League final. It's turned out to be a fractured nose and left orbital as well. And as it is right now, it looks like they're not even sure if he's going to be ready for the tournament.
It's a massive blow. Kevin De Bruyne, clearly Belgium's #1 player, and to have that to him in the last game, the very last game of the club season, is just unbelievably sad. Unfortunately, for him, the time frame between the end of the season and the start of the Euros is very, very short. The runway is so short. The Euros kick off next week, Friday. So there's not enough recovery time in there. But if England included a certain Harry Maguire in their squad in the hope that he will, get fit during the course of the tournament, the thinking is that they should go far. It's a month-long tournament,
yep.
And if he misses the group stages, he probably is fit for the business end of the tournament. So I think similarly, Belgium can count on some good fortune for Kevin De Bruyne. If he doesn't get fit for the group stages, obviously they are favourites. They should go far. In the latter stages, sometime in July, he should be ready. But Belgium would have wanted Kevin De Bruyne to be dictating the complexion and the pace of the games from the very, very first minute of the first game. not later on in the competition, because you know how these things go.
Yeah.
He comes on later on. He's not really, in tune with the rhythm of the tournament and with his team. It's almost like, you're introducing a new signing to a club. Not experience, not quality, but these are tough. I remember, I think it was the 2002 World Cup when Zidane got injured before the tournament, and he was patched up to play in that tournament where the favorites, France, went 3 games without a win, and it wasn't the same Zidane. It wasn't the same Zidane. I do hope, for Roberto Martinez's sake and for the Belgians, because I'm actually backing them to win this tournament. I do pray and he comes back, but they have some decent talent. Dries Martin can play in that position. Yannick Carrasco can play in that position. They've got a lot of quality players who can play, but none of them is Kevin De Bruyne, and
exactly.
That's the point I have.
Okay.
All right, let's get more on the status of Kevin De Bruyne for the Euros from the coach, Roberto Martinez.
At the moment, we're still working towards getting everyone fully fit and everyone ready for the first game, even though it's very unlikely that Kevin De Bruyne will be ready that early, and Axel Witsel, we're not going to take that timeline. But apart from that, this is a bigger group than we normally have in tournaments. We got 26 players. That gives you an extra opportunity of have more options in each position. So he's still in his time of recovering and almost is that the regeneration period after a very difficult season in terms of the amount of games that they had at the club level. But every day is important that we are in contact and we're monitoring his feeling, and from there we can make better decisions. I would say that probably until next week we won't be able to know exactly where we are with Kevin. At the moment it's a period that we need to allow him to relax, and medically we are every day in contact.
Belgium coach Roberto Martinez still a bit hopeful that perhaps Kevin De Bruyne might make it to the Euros. They will determine that next week just before the competition starts. We need to go on a break now. We'll come back. I'm telling you all about Bukayo Saka scoring his first international goal for England, not for Nigeria.
So it begins the match day 23 encounter here at the Okigwe Township Stadium. Abia Warriors against Akwa United. Disparity in terms of position, 13th playing host to 2nd.
Well, he's an exceptional right back, but unfortunately, Ethan Matty has been more of the one that has started games this season by virtue of his experience and what he's been able to do for the team.
That's well, quite the call, just at the edge of the penalty area.
Antonio Kemiri, junior brother of Obonaya Kemiri, former international player who won the CAF Champions League with them. Of course, 35 appearances he's made in the league.
It's just too much quality in this Warriors side to decide who will take the set piece. Straight to the goalkeeper. It's quite a distance, but if anyone who can do it, it could be Fatai. Quite the effort from Fatai Abdullahi. Brilliant.
For a midfielder to scored more than half a dozen of goals in the current campaign goes to show that is really in pole position to make his season remarkable. Excellent player any day and time.
Sampson to take, whips one into the box! And almost a perfect connection. Godwin Obaje got a touch, not direction he would have hoped.
I thought that was in the back of the net. Excellent delivery. Inch perfect header there. I thought it was 1-0.
Obaje. Headed up by Etboy Akpan. Daniel Watlai! Well, Fatai Abdullahi.
That's his sort of range.
That was what transpired here, but it's left on. Could be his first touch. It could be a first goal for him in this fixture. And he's points it, Mustafa Jibril.
Let's just talk a little over 5 minutes for Abia Warriors. I wonder what Imama Amakakaba will be thinking at this point, that his players have not been able to capitalize on their numerical strength. Excellent control. Just got past Olis, and Adewale was just at the right spot to intercept that.
Well, looks like the final kick of this game. Reminder, the minimum, the referee has given us 3. So entitled to a couple of extra seconds. And there'll be no need for a pass for Fatai Abdullahi. The most familiar result when this team's meet yet again is made manifest. Nothing on this day separates these teams, despite the sending off of Charles Ashimena in the 62nd minute. Results not a scoreline. Abia Warriors 0, Akwa United 0.
Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. We still got Badakitele Johnson with us, and we're still talking about the Euros and preparations for all these big sides in that continent. And let's focus on Saka, Bukayo Saka. Arsenal's shining light in the gloomy season. Started yesterday for England against Austria. I thought it looked very, very sharp. Of course, he capped it up with a goal as well, too. I mean, Bada, this guy looks like the real deal, even though it's still very early in his young career.
Well, fantastic footballer. There's not much one can add in that regard. Everyone knows about his quality, how he's broken into the Arsenal setup from the youth teams and literally carried the entire team on his back, especially through the first half of the season where the Aubameyangs and the Lacazettes and the big names in the Arsenal team went missing. They stepped up to the plate and did the business. But I would have been interested in finding out if he would have made that squad had Mason Greenwood not pulled out. Yeah, not to steal his thunder, but I know personally that he probably would have. But I think Gareth Southgate's headache was made less by the fact that Mason Greenwood sort of withdrew because of injury. But yesterday, it was all about Saka. He scored the winner against Austria, profiting from a ball that broke to him in the penalty area. I think it was Jadon Sancho that should have finished. The goalkeeper blocked the ball, fell kindly to he just tucked it into an open net from a rather tight angle, it must be said. But his stock continues to rise. He's 20 now. For the most part, since we've known him, he's been a teenager. I think alongside Greenwood and Foden, these guys are the brightest stars for British football or English football. And I believe that Saka will play some sort of important role at the Euros for the English national team. Again, he brings something that not so many players in that squad have, which is his versatility. The fact that he can play in multiple positions. He can play on the left side, he can play on the right side of midfield, he can play in defense, he can play in central midfield. He's just a brilliant footballer all round, who continues to improve. And it's always good to have such a player in the squad. It wouldn't get the columns written about him like the Jack Grealishes of this world and the Harry Kanes of this world, but his quality is not in doubt, and I feel like he's one that we lost that I would have wanted us to get lucky to have. Maybe we didn't deserve.
I saw pictures of some players. I mean, Jesse Lingard, so only with Watkins. These are the players that did not even make the 26-man squad, and they played the friendly. I mean, how does it feel? Just having players who are not part of the squad and playing the friendlies, and these players, how comfortable will it be for them not being part of the squad? I mean, the main squad, but just playing friendlies.
No, but they can still play the tournament. To be honest, the rules allow for you to be able to swap players out should any sort of major injuries happen. So Jesse Lingard might still end up playing in the Euros, to be honest, and that's why he played in the friendly. Yeah, so they know that they are still in with a chance, however remote that chance is. But we saw, for instance, Trent Alexander-Arnold limp out of that game yesterday. Yeah. So there are still these injuries can still happen. Players can still be rendered.
They got 3 more right backs on that side.
3 more right backs because you have 4. So why not?
In other position. Yeah. I don't think there's any back. Okay. Yeah. So for Oli Watkins, for what's his name, the Man U guy now, Lingard. Yeah. It's not a worthless exercise. I mean, playing those friendlies to them, they know that there's just a chance. However tiny that chance is that they play.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much, Bada Kintude Johnson, for joining us again this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, right, quickly, let's touch down on Eimba. I mean, what happened? Just quickly, 2-1, they won the game against Lobby Stars, and right now they moved up on the log. They needed that 3 points to get out from where they are, 8th position right now. They're very close. Just a same point with Rangers.
Yeah, you kept on doing the comparison yesterday.
Yeah. Because you keep saying that a game in hand, I mean, is nothing until you win it. So they were able to win that. Maybe they can continue in that stead and move up because they played lesser games than any other team. Yeah. That's the rescheduled game, the result for you on your screen. Of course, this is what it's looking like right now. Yeah, they're still in that position, 7th, but then they're closing in on Rangers. Rangers still leading by goal difference. 21 games they've played. Rangers have played 23. Okay. And you have the top 3. They've already played 24 games. Or rather, the top 4, they played 24 games already. So they've got a chance.
All right, let's take a look at your tweets now before we look at the papers. Our Noble Flyer Man is back, safe to say, back for real. You're happy that Tammy Abraham and Fikaya Tomori were asked from the 3 Lions. They should only play for Nigeria. Come on, guys.
Out of patriotism.
Those guys were born in England, a few more English than Nigerian.
Of course.
Let them make their choices. Come on. Educate is a good message as well. So you really wish Serena Williams can get her 24th Grand Slam title this time around. She's come a long way. She's a warrior, of course. Roger Federer is my guy all day long for the men's singles. Really? Roger Federer in Paris?
It's this guy. I mean, he doesn't really mind. HJ, that's the last one we'll take before look at the papers. Time is fast spent. Yeah. I said, okay, well, commending our guest. A great analysis from your guest on the Super Eagles. However, I do not agree with Gannett Ross showing enough of the new invitees. This is one of the best times for the Super Eagles. Invite more Super Eagles eligibles. Cap them and play them, Gannett Ross. That's a message to you. Invite more and cap all of them. All right, they should be good enough, not just capping anyone. I'll go straight to the papers. I'll start with Complete Sports. And Complete Sports here, okay, there you have the headline. 21 Eagles now in camp. So Gannett Ross should be happy about this one. And Super Eagles wish Chukwueze a quick recovery. Yeah, of course. He needs to recover soon. And Cameroon to miss 4 major players against Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles are missing players as well.
Eagles, of course.
On both sides.
The admission from Mbappe says, I'm not in their class. That's the comparison between, there's always this comparison between Messi, Ronaldo, and he says, look, he's not even close.
That's a very smart
one, no pressure at all.
No pressure. Let's go to Sporting Life quickly. Conte in talks to become Tottenham manager. That's a very interesting one, Conte and Daniel Levy. We'll see how it pans out. Real Madrid,
2 months relationship.
Yeah, that should be very, very fiery. Real Madrid approached Mourinho before appointing Ancelotti. There you go. Jose unfortunately signed with Roma already. Mbappe is Real Madrid's present for Ancelotti, really. All right, we'll see about that when the transfer window opens. Battle against Cameroon, no injuries or knocks amongst the 21 players in the Super Eagles camp. Chelsea plan mass summer clear-out. Really?
Yep. Giroud and some other players might just be leaving. Okay. Our Sporting Sun is the last one, and here, Genk slams hefty 12.6 billion naira fee on Paulo Nuachu. And Mbappe is still talking about Ronaldo, Messi, better than him. He is. Yeah. Okay, international Viabel. Okay, you guys accommodation. All right, okay. That's a Stoke City extent. Oh, no, the accommodation. I got 10 million. Why are you telling me? All right, Lukaku. Okay, he's the MVP for Serie A. And of course, I read the story that he says he's staying. He's not leaving.
It's not going anywhere.
So Inter Milan, which is 100
never.
million quid, who's going to do that? All right, Tyson Fury is sparring with a...
We will.
Okay, GG. Whoa, hold on. Is it the Triple G? Okay.
Sparring.
Interesting. With Triple G.
6'9" heavyweight GGG. Okay, that's another GGG.
Okay, that's another one. Okay. That's the one we know.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great day.
I am Taya Salam. Join us again tomorrow.